Our next speaker is Robert Carroll. Grip strength. Grip strength, Robert Carroll.
Finally, it was moving day. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow contestants, Madam Contest Master, I was finally moving out of that small, stuffy studio apartment and into a house with my girlfriend, Carrie. She arrived early that morning with a pickup truck full of empty boxes, and we got right to work. But as the day went on, two things became apparent. One, it was hot. The quick jaunts up and down the stairs slowly began to resemble a forced march. And the second thing was, Carrie and I had very different packing styles. She was organized, efficient, everything from the kitchen in one box, everything from the medicine cabinet in another, whereas I was more devil-may-care and took time to reminisce. Carrie, do you know I got this book for my graduation? I forgot I had this. And she gave me this look. Put that book in a box in the next 2 seconds, I'm going to kill you, look. We were beginning to wear on each other's patience. But we got the job done and moved everything out of the apartment, drove it over to our house, and unloaded the truck. And the only thing left was to return and clean the apartment. And while I was vacuuming in the other room, I heard what I thought was my name. So I turned off the vacuum cleaner. And then I heard, "Hey, Bob!" "Yeah? How's your grip strength?" "How's my grip strength?" So I walked over to the bathroom and saw that the toilet tank lid was on the floor. And Carrie was perched over the toilet with her hands covering something. "Bob, you're going to have to turn off the water. I tried. I couldn't do it." Now, the bathroom's really only big enough for one person, so I'm trying to see what she's... "Carrie, you're going to have to move your hands. I can't see. I can't move my hands. Carrie, if you don't move your hands, I can't see what's wrong with the toilet. You're going to have to move your hands." "No, you don't understand. I can't move my hands." "Carrie, move your hands." And a jet of ice-cold water hits me in the face. "I told you I couldn't move my hands." Somehow, while cleaning the inside of the toilet tank, a place no man would ever think to clean, she had broken the water control assembly. So I got down and reached around her leg and tried to turn off the water, but sure enough, the valve would not budge. "Do you have a wrench?" "I do. I do have a wrench. It's in a box at the house." So while Carrie held back the flood, I drove to the house and looked through every box until I found the wrench. We returned to the house, turned off the water. We then went to the hardware store to buy a new water control assembly. Got back to the apartment, found out it was the wrong size water control assembly, and drove back to the hardware store. A very long and quiet drive. But when we got to the parking lot, we looked at each other and just started laughing. It had been a terrible day, and it's one of my fondest memories. It could have ended differently. There was ample opportunity for either one of us to lose our temper, but it ended with laughter. Carrie and I were married a year later, and I've since come to realize it's those tiny tragedies, those little disasters, the small obstacles, those moments. Who you are in those moments comes to define who you are. One of the boxes Carrie and I brought out of the apartment that day had a small picture of Joe DiMaggio in it. My father told me a story about how, in a meaningless spring training game, Joe DiMaggio made a diving catch on a ball he could have easily let fall in for a single. And as he was walking off the field, the teammates asked him, "Why did you risk hurting yourself for a game that didn't matter?" And he pointed to the stands, and he said, "There may be someone out there who's never seen me play before." Now that catch didn't mean anything, but that story really tells you who he was. So don't ever think that the occasion is too small, the challenge too insignificant for you to be at your best. You never know who's going to be watching. Your future wife, perhaps. Or a kid who will grow up to tell his children about how he was inspired by the way you handled yourself. Don't discount the little moments. They have a way of becoming big. Madam Contest Master.
Tell Bob what you thought. We have 2 minutes.